So I'm Lara Montefiori. I work for Artificial and as a head of psychology. I'm also a researcher at UCL. I'm a PhD student actually. And I got into this job by luck, by sheer luck, because I was desperately looking for a sponsor to my PhD. So I put my research on LinkedIn, and one thing led to the other. So through some Oxford alumni network, my current CEO just spotted me, and the rest is history. So there's a massive overlap between what I do as research and what I do at work. And also, I have two different offices. One is based in London and one is based in Manchester. So it really depends on where I wake up. The day may be different. So I may be doing a lot of research, so planning studies and validation. I have an amazing team in Manchester as a cognitive psychologist, and they do all the research. So we set up specs for the developers. There's another side of my job as well, and is about presenting at conferences and making contact with people for more research. But also sometimes I need to sit in client meetings. What we do, essentially, we replicate established cognitive tasks into game formats, because we want tasks that really differentiate between people on a set number of constructs. And there's two pulling forces, because we have the cognitive neuroscience and neuropsychology on one side, and also the occupational application. So we need to choose traits that are useful in the workplace, but also that are measurable at the cognitive level. So that is the trick. That is the difficulty. So the end product is a game, is a test in a game format that is comparable to something like Flappy Birds or Angry Birds, so something really, really simple, but in which we embed all these cognitive tasks that we know elicit differences between people. About 2 years ago, I decided that every single person who takes one of our tests will have to answer a very short amount of questions saying how they feel about the assessment. And I found that the vast majority of people are actually very pro GBA. And not only they blindly believe us that we're doing a really good job, which is amazing, and they think that not only we do what we say on the tin, but also we are able to go into parts of the personality and their ability of which they're not fully aware. From an audience point of view, I think we're in a very good place, especially from the candidate side. So the younger generation, so most of our candidates are about graduates or school leavers, so anyway, young people. And for that demographics, GBA is very welcome, and they truly believe is a good method. It's very important to engage the candidates. So now there's so many job offers from so many different employers that even just that little tweak to the attraction piece make the candidate a lot more motivated to apply for the brand and more embracing of the brands altogether. So we're very research based. So we have my team, my psychology team is mainly researchers. So we spend hours and hours reading through papers, and we base everything on the research. So in a way, what we're doing is really innovative. But if you look at how conservative we are in replicating the task, you can understand how much research we do, because we don't take much of a leeway from what has been established and demonstrated to work and to predict certain outcomes. We do. So we base everything on science. So in terms of other people seeing us as a trend, I hope they don't see us as a fad, because what we're doing is real science. So I like the idea of being a little bit more traditional, but at the same time innovative. So for me, it's a very good balance. The birth of game-based assessment is a very good opportunity to link that bridge, to make that connection between the practitioner and the researcher, because we couldn't live without each other. There are several people who just take game-based assessment from a very commercial point of view, and there are some other people who take the game-based assessment area from a very academic point of view without much understanding of the commercial side of it. So I think it's very important in this specific in this specific context to merge the two, because you can't have just a commercial product that works well, that is nice and is shiny, but is not based on really robust research. And in our company and in our actual office, where we share the same space, we have practitioners and researchers, and we tend to bridge that up very well. We talk a lot about how we do things, and we inform each other. A couple of things that I'm really interested in. So one is to explore whether we can measure verbal ability and verbal reasoning without having to use language at all. So English is my second language, and I think my verbal ability in English was already settled before I've learned the vocabulary, and it was almost there. It just needed to be expressed with vocabulary. And if you think about today's job markets, you have many people working in a country where they were not born, or interacting with people from many other countries in many different languages. So I think it's important to measure people for the raw potential in communicating and into understanding language rather than producing words. And then another project is to move on to a multiplayer game-based assessment kind of thing, a sort of substitute for a assessment center, really. So bypassing the geographical demands of an assessment center. I mean, we are a single company, but really we are merging two different companies. We have a game developer company, and we have a commercial company. And sometimes it is difficult to merge the two. So we have different kind of people working together. It's very unique. The way in which our teams are based is very unique, and we put people together who would have probably never have spoken to each other. And we have now developed a company-wide language, and we really understand each other. But it took a while to do that. And also in terms of costs and in terms of timelines, we can't have a request from a client, for example, for an SJT or for a self-reported tool, and say, okay, fine, we can talk again in 3 weeks or 4 weeks. We're talking more about 6 months. So our development time and costs are on a completely different scale compared to other test providers. I really like it. I'm one of those people who wake up on a Monday morning and say, "Yay, another week!" I think it was really privileged to pick one thing that I was really passionate about and make a career out of it with some amazing people around me. And I really hope that other people can find the same career. I don't know, bliss.